Gotta be twice as good to get half they got. Mama told me young who I was, they thought that we forgot. Born kids and Queens, do your research and you can see the plot. Damn shame we watching our people die by these crooked cops. Freddie Gray, say his name. Sandra Bland, say her name. Sabina Smith, say his name. Jay Anderson, say his name. Breonna Taylor, say her name. George Lacenato, say his name. George Floyd, say his name. That's a damn. This a new day coming from the bottom. Had to get it, screen no justice, no peace, and I'm with it. We'll tear it all down so we can finally get up. Put your right fist in the air, you rockin' with us. 100 years we've been fighting, but we still here. Since 55 we've been marching, but we still here. They said you Crow been gone, but we still here. But we still here, yeah, we still here. Yeah. King had a dream I got to live when I went to school.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Welcome back to another episode of Revolution Ready, the show where we liberate,
educate,
demonstrate
all the ways that you too can stay involved and in tune with the revolution. Brandon is with us, and he's currently in Miami.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Oh man, that heat.
Oh man.
Man.
Take all that stuff off.
I just landed.
Real jealous.
I'm jealous.
I'm very jealous. Look at them trees. Look at that sky.
What is he doing?
He trying to hear us.
He had to do it. He had to do it to us.
You ain't got your
We're just
earphones?
admiring your background, Brandon.
I know that heat feels good.
I want to thank Mama Vita and I think that's someone she with for coming on the show today. It's our honor. I just want to say
That's
that.
Jamal Bryant.
Okay.
Jamal Cannon. Who is Jamal?
Jamal Bryant, that preacher that can't. That
Jamal
one preacher
Bryant
that
is
keep
that
that keep
preacher.
busting down all his
Oh, sorry. Whoa. Uh-oh.
Jamal Bryant out there macking on the pulpit. You know?
Oh, wow. So with that being said, I'm going to just let y'all introduce yourselves.
All right. I was General Levita in the Revolutionary Black Panther Party.
Mhm.
Also, I was the original Cub with my mother, my father, and then I was in the original Panthers with Daryl Farmer. So that's who I be.
No doubt. Genovita been she understating herself a little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely. A
She
little bit.
been,
A lot of
I mean, even when I was a kid, you could hear about her. She been in revolution for forever, as far as my whole life, and been a great inspiration. But I myself, Chief Jamal, legendary Black Panther Party, General Jamal. I was general in the Revolutionary Black Panther Party. Previous to that, various organizations as a kid, Elder McGee Commando Program, the great Commander McGee. Back when King Rick was also there as well, even though he had a different position. Obviously, he was a bodyguard. But I was a kid, learning the ropes, and it was real inspiring. They gave out they did so much good things. I don't think that Elder McGee get enough credit for what he did, man. He really started not just here in Milwaukee, but people understand the new Black Panther Party came from Elder McGee and Aaron Michaels. So dealing with that, I also have family members out of California that was in the original party. Family members in Chicago with the Black Panther Party. So it's been a long lifetime thing for me. Hopefully one day we achieve our goal of revolution, and it's no longer a struggle. We in the victory lane.
Oh, that's right. So today, y'all see our guests. Y'all got to be ready for this. Today is they finna kick some knowledge. You know what I mean? Y'all got to be ready. Y'all need to know exactly what the revolution is about. And the people that we have on the show today, they gonna most definitely tell you the stories that they had in the revolution. Jumping that off, I want to start with you, Mama.
Ooh,
Just
man.
give us a couple details on how you started in the revolution, and what it means to you.
Man, it means liberty or death.
Me for just a little bit.
Yes.
Liberty or death.
Right.
How I started out in the revolution was when I was about 5. But I can always remember my mother talking about being proud, be black, stand strong. I remember my mother used to tell me, hold your head up to your nosebleed. She used to tell me, a bunch of stuff about being proud, being black. And I remember when I was like 6 years old, my mother took me to feed the people program. She was feeding people because she was a cook and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the police pulling up back in Breyer days. And the police tipped over the table and said, niggas, what the F y'all doing here? Niggas.
Wow.
You know, that was different time, you know, in 1965. And I can remember my mother saying, why would you do this? And the police hit my mother over the head with a billy club. And they got the fight, and everybody got the fight. And I remember I was like I said, 5 or 6, and I fell out because I just, you know, you a little kid.
Yeah.
And I never forget that. And that like stuck with me, seeing my mother being knocked out by the police. Milwaukee Police Department, we talking about the terrorist department. Well, let's keep it 1,000. Well, I ain't calling them police.
Absolutely.
The Milwaukee Terrorist Department.
Yeah.
So that's like stayed in my mind, embezzled in my brain, that the police don't care about the black family. They don't care about the black woman, the black child, or nothing. And I know when I see like our people being killed, that's part of their routine.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, when people talk about, you know, we're going to talk about this pull-up game. Let's pull up at the Capitol and demand reparations.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Let's pull up at the United Nations
Yes.
and ask for reparations.
Mhm.
Let's take a break and think. All them white folks, they might not agree with each other, but they showed up at that state
They know how to
capitol,
come
didn't
together,
they?
yeah.
And they came all together. QAnon, nationalists, what was that? Nazis. They all came together for one thing. Why we can't unify?
Shoot, they had people there that was like liberals that weren't even like Republicans or none of those groups or none of that was still there helping them with that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like that's deep. Like
Right.
they was able, you know, we fight as a people over the littlest thing. We still argue about religion,
Mm-hmm.
you know, about politics. My thing is always I say, man, let's talk about that on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's real simple. We black, we oppressed, we need freedom.
Absolutely.
And then like when we get freedom, we can go back, because right now we reading books that wasn't our own, that wasn't given to us. We got to dig in deep for information. We get part of the puzzle. Let's get free and get the whole puzzle, and then we can discuss those things. But right now we don't got time to debate and,
Right.
do the little things, you know.
Right.
Jamal, what's one of the ways you feel like, you know, that people should carry on the fight to, you know, actually be free? Like, what would you tell them to do?
I would tell them first and foremost, understand yourself. Knowledge of self is the first key, because you got to understand who you are as a black man, as a black woman. Once you understand that, a good book I always give people to read to understand systematic oppression is the ISIS Papers. It's a lot of great books out there, but I think that book, the great thing about that book, you know, about you know, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, that's a great book because it gives you how this country was crafted against us as black people.
Mm-hmm.
How everything from sports to entertainment to everything was made against us.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got to take our own self-responsibilities and our own actions, but you have to understand there's a deficit, but there's also a great pride with being black. There's also great power with being black. There's also great, you know, so you got to know yourself. You got to know the good and the bad. Once you know yourself and you understand the situation you in, you understand the need for liberation, and you understand that it's worthy to the death. You don't understand, like Malcolm said, if you ain't got nothing worth dying for, you know, it's not really worth living. You got to understand that this is worth dying for, because it can't continue. Somebody got to eventually say, okay, this is enough. We can't keep passing the burden of white supremacy on to our children. You know, we got to take. We had great ancestors who took some of the burden off of us. We got to keep doing. We got to keep. It can't be a thing that where we just say, you know what, I'm just good with how this is. I'm okay. I'm okay with them shooting us down for nothing. I'm okay with them with the banks giving them, you know, with the same qualifications, giving them, you know, what was it, like 30-40%? It was worse than that. I think it was like 60% more, you know, rates on, you know, 60% more approval on loans, and like twice as half interest rates, stuff like that. we got to understand that dealing with the oppression that we deal with, that yes, we got to take responsibility, but there is a deficit there. There is oppression. There is a need for freedom. We can't try to ignore the systematic issues that we face. And like, unfortunately, a lot of our brothers and sisters, they get comfortable in America. They get what's called happy, like, Dr. Khalid Muhammad said, happy slaves.
Yeah.
And you can't, once you get that, you already lost. So you got to maintain, you got to have knowledge of self first for anything. You got to understand, once you got knowledge of self, you understand the daily battle that you got. You will see things clearer. I know people I went to school with. There's a brother I went to school with and played football with, right? I'm coming there, I'm from Milwaukee, I'm from the hood. He wasn't from the hood. So he didn't understand like racism like that. And then like he experienced his first piece of racism from for some players on the team. They called him a nigga and like spit on him and like do stuff. We ended up like having to help fight. He was just so shocked. It was just so cell shocked. It was traumatic for him. And I was like, for me, I was like, man, we go through that all the time, but like for him, he didn't know who he was. Mm-hmm. He knew he was black, but he didn't know he was black. He didn't experience it yet. Mm-hmm. So that's why I always say knowledge itself is the first key. Know who we are. So
what would you say to people who are like, man, ain't nothing gonna change. It's been like that. The world gonna be what it's gonna be. Da, da, da. Like the people who are already like mentally defeated. I
say to them, well, how did you get where you're at? Mm-hmm. Somebody had to get off their ass and do something.
Exactly.
When you get on the city bus, you ain't got to go to the back of the bus. Exactly. Somebody had to do something. You ain't got it. You can go vote now. Mm-hmm. If you want to go vote, you can go vote. Mm-hmm. So we, I think a lot of times in the revolutionary community, which I try to fight against and try to get back to the original principles of the parties, that we got to see you got to, which I'm going to get into with the COINTEL stuff. It was a major movement with these new formations and just pushing liberation, but liberation only, and just totally downgrading incremental process and the political process and the act. Like one thing about General Levita, we're gonna call her mama. It's hard to call her mama because she looks so young.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like black don't crack.
Let me tell y'all
she
something.
Remind me her age all the time. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Hey, she always keep me balanced. Mm-hmm. Even today, she gave me great advice about getting back on track, keeping balance, because you can't like try to ignore the political struggles and the struggles we deal with on a day-to-day basis and just try to say it's all liberation. You got to have those. You got to have a mixture of both. You got to fight the policies and the politics that's on the ground that's going on now, and have a total game plan for liberation at the same time. You got to do both, because you can't. It's like if you locked up in jail. Mm-hmm. You trying to get out, you trying to get to the law library, study the case laws to get out of jail. But if the guard don't let you go to the law library, you can't do that. Mm-hmm. So you might have to make sure you don't get on lockdown, and you got to do incremental stuff to get to that point where you can have a bigger picture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Y'all heard it. You know what I'm saying? So y'all know what y'all got to do. Y'all got to liberate yourselves. You got to educate yourselves. Knowledge is power.
Any means necessary.
Absolutely.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. And I say that all the time because a lot of our people don't have knowledge of self. They don't love yourself. So how can you love others? Mm-hmm. If you do not love yourself and know that we come from the highest form of people. Right. We are the original people of this planet. Mm-hmm. Take it or leave it, white folks. Hate to say it, mm-hmm. but we are the original people of this planet. My mother, your mother, mother's mother. We are the Eve. Mm-hmm. Right. That Gene Eve.
Yeah.
Like me, I can have a white baby.
Absolutely. With blue eyes and blonde hair.
Sure
you
can. With another black man.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we are the original of this planet. And for us, like I said, we come from such higher plateau. Mm-hmm. For us to go to a lower plateau, that's not conducive to our race. Mm-hmm. We have to keep it pushing. We have to, like I say, people can say stuff, they can argue and fight, but I'm going to take a flight. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm going to keep it moving. No matter good, bad, or indifferent. It's so much work out here that could be done. Like every day, it could be a new group. Of work. It could be a new group evolving every day to help our people, and it still ain't enough. Because we need so much help. And of course, I'm for my black people. I can't help, but I'm black.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help no other race right now. I got to help my people first,
Mm-hmm.
because our people ain't straight yet.
Right.
Till we get straight, then I help other races. But
That's
right
a
now,
part of self-love.
my concentration is on my black
Right.
people. Period.
Yes.
Big time.
Yep,
No
that's
doubt.
it.
No doubt.
So when we speaking of love, like a lot of people, they say that they love themselves, but they're not always loving themselves properly. Like now I've came to where I always love myself, but it wasn't until this past year that I'm like, I'm really in love with myself. Like I love who I'm becoming, and I'm starting to like kind of not ruin relationships, but like break away from certain relationships that are like more toxic than I noticed. Like I knew it was toxic, but I was okay with dealing with it. And it's like now I'm in this new world of like self-love, and it came from being in a revolution.
Yes.
So for people who are like going through their process of becoming, like what would you say to those women?
Man, I would say keep it pushing, sister. You know, the black woman is the most unappreciated, disrespected woman on this planet.
Yeah.
Such a shame.
Yeah.
Malcolm X said it better. Hey, where you get your teaching from? Who was your first nurse?
Mm-hmm.
Who was your first teacher?
Right.
When you teach a black woman, you teach a nation. When you teach a man, you teach an individual.
Right.
Yeah.
True
Because
indeed.
we are the teachers of this nation. So, you know, I would tell any sister, you know, keep your head up. Don't let nobody discourage you, no matter what they say, because you're going to always get the, what you call it, the naysayers
Yeah.
or whatever. You keep it moving.
And
I
we,
keep it put, you know, hey, you got to think back. In the people revolution, I went through obstacles. It's always going to be a hater out there or somebody dislike you. And you have to turn that around no matter what they say or what they do. You know, I'm checking them as soon as they coming in the door because I'm old school. You know, I'm checking you. As soon as you come in the door, you got a bad feeling. If you don't like me, just stay away from me.
Yeah.
You know, you ain't
Yeah.
got to do nothing to me. You ain't got to try to, you know, show yourself out or show up or turn up or whatever they say. Just leave me be.
Yeah.
You know, because you can't stop me, baby.
Yeah.
Dad, I got 3 million ancestors walking behind me. They got my front, my back, my front, and my center.
Yes.
So whatever you do, you doing it to hurt yourself. Because I'm walking with the way of my art. True justice and balance all the time.
No
That's
doubt.
right.
No doubt.
That's right.
No doubt.
That's definitely what's up. Y'all
Yes.
heard. That's my mama.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And
That's
what did I say this year,
Yeah.
son?
that's the original piece.
Yes.
Peace side come from Kemet, Alkebulan, Africa. This the original peace sign. The European took it to this, which means division. This togetherness, division. Always remember that. Google it.
I say.
Look
I
it
say.
up.
I say.
Every time you're in this woman's presence, you're gonna learn something.
Yes. Yes.
You're gonna learn
Yes.
something. I complimented her with all her green on, and I got a lesson. And I'm like, I'm gonna ask you that on the show because I didn't know that.
Well, I wear green for the original Twa people, TWA. You can Google it. They stood 4'11". They out of Africa and they migrated to Ireland. See, our people was some bad mama jammas. The Twa people invented sound, language, like clicks, like alphabet, A, B, C, A, and vowels, A, E, I, O, U. They invented that. Our people were our inventors. We invented a lot of stuff that you might not even see in books. You just have to dig. And who told me this? Because I go to New York frequently, was this teacher. His name was Ifodisi, and he's a master teacher of Kemet. And he told me this on top of Ashwa Kwesi and Mary Kwesi, they are actually Kemet experts. They go and do a tour. It's called a Kemet tour where they show you the metaneta. The metaneta is the scripture that's wrote on the wall that our ancestors dug in. It's called the metaneta. So that's how I learned this, by reading and Ashwa Kwesi and Mary Kwesi. Actually, I brought them here about 2 years ago, and they did a big thing at
And you brought everybody. You brought Steady here. You brought everybody here.
Everybody.
Yeah, I was trying to bring what you just said, Frances Cress Wilson. I got to meet her when I went to North Carolina,
Yeah.
but she had transitioned, before I could get in here. And she had so much knowledge.
Man, that's a powerful queen right there, man.
She learned that from Baba Neely Fuller Jr.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know nothing about him. You could actually Google him. He has a lot of stuff out there that talks about us, coming together and all that and different things. But yeah, I was trying to bring her here before she transitioned. And man, I hate that happened. But all of our great ones, it's best to get this knowledge while they living. You know what I'm saying? And wait till they transition, and then you have to just read it off a book or see a video.
Right.
So yeah, that it's so much stuff out there for us to search for. And like I say, if you want to hide some information, put it in the book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you, this is a true story. This is a true story. At the house I live in, I've been there since 1972. I had put somebody broke on my house, and I hid all my money and stuff in the book. They didn't even touch it. Because and it's sad, it's sad to say not all, because that's a blanket statement. I say most of our people don't want to pick up a book and read.
Well, we got trauma. We got traumatization from reading too that we deal with because we carry the affliction of our ancestors. They used to beat us for reading and try to kill us just for reading. Yeah. So like some of that psychological pressure, that we don't deal with, because it's crazy. We don't like to read, but we the original scholars and the lawyers and the scribes and all of that. So that was something happened to make that happen. That ain't our natural state. You know what I mean?
Made me think of something. Just like my mother would tell me, and you will see that right now. You have to catch yourself. This came from slavery. The master say, "Oh, your son look not. Oh no, my son don't look good. Oh, he a clown. He do the." Yeah. That's because our people was conditioned to say bad things about our children, so they weren't getting sold.
Right.
To get some. So when
that's deep.
He lazy.
No, he lazy. No, he ain't no good. He lied. That was a condition that was handed down for slavery, because the slave master will say, Sarah, oh, your son and daughter look good. They good. No, master, she don't breathe. She ain't nothing. She hard-headed. She don't. That's because we don't want our children to be sold off or to be raped or whatever. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things. What is that? PT, post-traumatic slavery syndrome. That's what Francis Christ was. That's a thing that's handed down from generation to generation. And we have to catch ourselves and say, damn it, you know what? I'm saying this because it was handed down. We have to break that cycle. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that something?
That's right. That is powerful. People got to understand nowadays, you know what I'm saying? They say it like we free. If we was free, y'all wouldn't be running from the police.
Come on, man. Say it again.
Come on, say that again, son.
Say it again, man. Say it again.
The police was, founded by, the masters of slaves.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That they was put here to, catch a slave and bring them back.
The original slave
and bring them to what they would call justice. Mm-hmm. We got to stop asking for justice. We got to start asking for freedom.
That's right.
We got to start asking for change, and that's got to come with, where we set the standard of what that means. Justice was always given to us, but that's their word. Mm-hmm. That's their form of what we deserve. We way better than that. We don't want justice. We want to be free. How about that?
Yes, absolutely.
What they say, free your mind and your ass will follow.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Funkadelic said there. Yeah. It's called, it was a song by Funkadelic, say, free your mind and your ass will follow.
And yeah. But that's the unifying factor of being free. If we can all concentrate on just freedom, like, okay, look, because at the end of the day, when the cops busting your ass, excuse my language, they don't. Okay, we good. Okay,
this is a revolution.
No doubt. When the cops busting your ass, they don't care. They don't care if you're a Baptist or a Muslim or more, or that what sports team you like, or that you believe this, that the Hebrews is this and the Kemet was this. They don't care about any of that. They just see that you're a black man or black woman.
Mm-hmm. Can you pass the brown paper bag test?
That's all. That's all they trying to see. That's all they care about. They see that you a nigga, and they want to let you know that you a nigga and that they superior. Mm-hmm. They want to enforce, even though they not superior, they inferior in every way. but they want to inflict that false superiority on you. You gotta understand. Look at when you look up lynchings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Notice that it's always a bunch of them and just one of us.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see no pictures where it's even up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or where it's more of us and just one of them, and they done knocked us all down.
Yeah.
So it's psychological. They do that. They put those pictures up and say, "This is what's gonna happen to you, boy. It's gonna happen to you, nigga. If you come against us, we're gonna do this to you." But you gotta pay attention. It's 80 of them in one person, and it's like a kid or a woman they doing it to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like cowards.
Right.
So we always like had it in us to do what we got to do. We got to stop. We got to stop thinking that our ancestors just took ass whoopers too, because it was a lot of revolts.
Mm-hmm.
It was more than that, Turner. That's what made the Emancipation Proclamation. Not no Abraham Lincoln. It's because we was raising up hell, and they said that instead of this slavery, this forced slavery, we're going to change. We're going to switch the slavery game. You got the industrialization of the North. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the slavery within the job market. Then you had the college institutions start coming about. Then you had college sports coming about. So and then you had the prison system. So they basically, all they did was shift it. They said, we can get more money like this. You know, we can get more currency like this. And we already had a psychological advance. We're going to continue the psychological oppression. You know, and that's how they did us. You know, we got to understand what is going on. People say that, oh, you can't compare it to slavery. What you mean? This is what it is. Mm-hmm. If you're not free, what is you? It's no in between. Mm-hmm. If you're not free, you're in slavery. And like Dr. Khalid Muhammad used to always say, you know, the first thing you got to do is understand that you are a slave and that you need freedom. You got to understand that first. You got to understand that we are a slave to this system, and it's even deeper than the color thing. Mm-hmm. It ain't even just us, but you got to understand we're dealing with an oppressor that he's willing to count his own people as casualties.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not compassionate like us. They'll kill off some of their own just to get to us.
That's right.
That's how deep it is. That's what we're going up against. They'll kill off some of their own just to get to us.
That right there should let you know that we are most definitely a powerful force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
You know, and they scared of us. You know, when I think about black, you know, I think about how powerful it is. And I think about my black is dangerous, you know, and that's to a lot of people that's inferior, you know, because they understand that, you know, no matter what, you know, if I got to carry this in, you know, and I have to live out life being who I was born to be. You know, that's something that's going to always intimidate them because it's in me. You know, it's not just on me, it's in me.
And you can't help it.
You know, Mama Levita, what would you say black means to you, the word?
Shoot. Black, the word, it means power. Black means we are, to me, what I read, like black is so powerful that it got the cracker beast so scared that we gonna rise up. Excuse my friend. They paranoid because they understand
what it is.
What they did to our ancestors. And it's still, you know, we are still being unjust right now today. You know, we are being weaponized by our skin color. You know, so to me, black means power. All day, every day, 24/7. And to me, I raise my hand, my fists up all day because I'm black and I'm proud. I don't care what anybody say. I don't care what anybody think because I am proud and I am truly, truly, truly blessed that the Creator made me black, that I came out to be a black, educated black woman. And
powerful.
It is what it is.
Too.
I'm powerful. Shoot, I spit fire.
Yes.
So we got Fred Hampton Jr. in the studio. We gonna go to a commercial break real fast, y'all, and then we gonna bring him in.
Looking to support Black-owned businesses in the Milwaukee area? Download the MKE Black mobile app, now available on Android and iPhone devices. Find your new favorite Black-owned restaurants, boutiques, and more in the Milwaukee, Waukesha, and Racine areas. MKE Black also supports local Black businesses with events, grants, and marketing. To learn more, visit us at mkeblack.com. mkeblack.org. Once again, that's mkeblack.org.
Okay. Well, y'all heard some powerful messages coming from Mama Levita and Jamal, brother Jamal. I'm gonna let them give y'all some information on how y'all can follow them. You know, stay in tune with the revolution and the movement.
No doubt. You can look this up on Legendary Black Panther Party on Facebook. My Facebook, Jamal Cannon. The YouTube channel, Legendary Black Panther Party. Actually, I'm putting that back up. I took it down. I'm putting it back up, but it'll be back up by tomorrow. And email Legendary Black Panthers at gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of us, any information, we definitely, like the goddess Levita was saying that we don't have enough. Like we can have 20 new groups tomorrow and it still won't be enough. I mean, you got that's it. So any way you can help, and you don't have to do. People gotta understand that. Just play your part. Every part is important, man. Even if you're giving clothes or if you helping out or you volunteer, whatever you do, every part is needed. So don't feel like you got to do all this and do all that. Everything is needed. We got programs out here feeding people, helping people get clothes in the shelter and training. We putting together something right now. We're trying to get some young. If you got any young boys that want to go learn how to survive in the woods, train, they get to be around, and young girls as well. Both young boys and young girls, we offering opportunities for them to train with weaponry, with self-defense, learning how to cook, learning how to survive in the wilderness, learning survival skills. So a lot of good things going on. The BOY program we launched out in LA and here as well, and just launched out on the East Coast. That's to build our youth program. Doing a lot of good things with that. A lot of good things with different things. So definitely check that out. And you can email, get up with us, let us know what to do. And we appreciate any support, any help, or if you need help, don't be afraid to ask. If you need help, that's what we are. We are our brothers and sisters keeper, Black Power.
That's awesome. Okay, so our third guest is in, and I'm going to introduce him as Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. How you doing?
Black Power, salute.
Black Power, salute.
Black Power.
Can you hear us okay?
I don't think you hear it.
Yeah, I don't think you can hear. Let's do a sound check.
He got his mic good. His mic is good.
Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. He is in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Salute.
Yeah, he's making some adjustments at the moment.
Can't hear. The volume is on some of the volume.
You can't hear?
Black Power, can you hear us? I think we can hear him, but he can't hear us.
Yeah, we can hear us.
Black Power.
I don't think he can hear us.
Okay, I don't know if y'all can hear me. I'm unable to hear anything. No.
He said no.
Unable to hear.
Yeah, I don't think he can hear us.
Can you ask him if he got like a headset or anything plugged in?
His mic is good though. So it's just
we can hear him.
We can hear him.
No, I'm not muted.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay, so Mama Levita, while we wait, can you give us some information about your garden and how that all started?
Oh man, I have been. I know the way for our people to be self-sufficient is to grow our own food, like grow fruits and vegetables. So I was thinking, like, man, it's an empty lot over here where I stay at. It will be a good spot for a garden.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept
Okay.
Black Power, salute. Can you hear us?
Yeah, loud and clear. Right on. Proud of people, Black Power. Right on.
Word up.
Let me premise with this. I got it. I'm kind of biting, regretfully biting the bullet because we have our weekly show, Freedom on Radio. I have to leave there. I have to be there shortly. So I usually speak fast. I'm gonna be speaking a lot more faster today. But that's what this premise with that. But good. I'm honored and humbled to be online with y'all today.
No, we honor the humble to be
we
online. We honor the humble.
Yes,
most definitely.
We honored.
You 5 minutes. Okay, we locked and loaded. Okay, we ready to roll.
Chairman, we just want you to bless us with your presence, and your knowledge, just let a lot of the people know what the Black Panther Party is all about, the movie, Judas and the Black Messiah, just give us just as brief as you can, as much detail with those questions, how it all started, what it means to you to be able to carry on the torch, and live out your father's legacy, and actually want to see that change from our people.
The Black Panther Party, was a revolutionary organization that was birthed in Oakland, California, October 16, 1966, by Minister U.E.P. Newton, then Chairman Bobby Seale. It grew to have international chapters. The largest chapter of the Black Panther Party being in the state of Illinois, under the leadership of Chairman Fred Hampton. It kind of coincides with the other question you asked. These are some of the what we refer to as the Panther Cub political pills that we put in the applesauce, such as just even the acknowledgement of COINTELPRO, the counterintelligence program. This is what subsequently was responsible for the military defeat of the Black Panther Party. Contrary to much misinformation that put out about the Black Panther Party, that it just faded away, or due to internal contradictions that destroyed. The deal is that the federal government had launched the infamous COINTELPRO, in which over 90% was directed to the Black Panther Party. And as we say that we recognize it was military defeated, and we distinguish that ideologically it won. It's an organization that was under attack and remains to be under attack as we speak. This government has not forgotten the contributions of a revolutionary organization that stood up on its own terms and fighting for their precious entity, self-determination. I'm honored and humbled to chair the Black Panther Party Cubs. The organization is carrying the legacy of the Black Panther Party. We say it's a tough act to follow. We attempt our best to walk in his Paul steps. This is the campaign in regards to the movie, as well as the campaign which we're presently dealing with. Also, still the campaign to save and maintain the childhood home of Chairman Fred Hampton. I would say it's been two of the most intense campaigns I had to deal with. And mind you, let me put this in context. We deal with campaigns and programs on a day-to-day basis. Programs such as the Black Panther Party Cubs, Triple C's, the Children's Community Cubs, Freedom on Radio, the campaign to free political prisoners. Hold on, speaking of which, I would be remiss if I don't mention the pressing, tense situation in regards to long-held political prisoner Mumia Abu-Jamal. In addition to congestive heart failure. Just revealed this past week here the coronavirus and the intensified attack by the state to take him out one way or another. Also, Imam Jimmy Al-Amin, formerly known as A. Brown, the deteriorating situation with regards to his eyesight, Dr. Mutulu Shakur, so many others. I just want to just state that that's something that we must keep on our minds and hearts, and we get and put the pedal to the metal in regards to demanding the freedom of Mumia Abu-Jamal and all political prisoners. But as I was saying, these two campaigns, I guess it's been because the additional weight of it is that you're dealing with a legacy, and we say legacy is more important than our life. Again, a legacy is more important than our life. even with the movie, I think it was one of the times in my life I was conflicted by saying I knew what I knew, and I felt fortunate to know what I know. In other words, there were times in which I would say I wish certain things can slide, just for the sake of liberalism. In other words, no arguments, so on and so forth. Everybody can move forward. But I'm continuously reminded, we are continuously reminded that this organization, again, that that the government said, through everything, including the kitchen sink, to take out, and to obliterate and malign that legacy. It's constant battles. I've seen, like, even on the set, we had to expose certain contradictions where so many bogus books, were referenced. We had cases, one time on the set, where individual, who was brought in, claimed to be membership of the Black Panther Party. We had to expose that contradiction. A lot of people say, well, that's, hold your tongue. We all, because I think, as we say, Black people speak French too much at the wrong times. We all don't have the same interests. We all don't have the same interests. And a lot of times it takes the federal government or the white man or the government, the state, to say certain things for to be acknowledged. This came out not out the horse's mouth, but out the pig's mouth. Former director of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, said over 90% of the COINTELPRO had the director of the Black Panther Party. Former Attorney General John Mitchell, as well as J. Edgar Hoover, said the Black Panther Party had to be destroyed by the end of 1969. So a lot of people, I think we romanticize revolution, and I talk about a situation. I was approximately 14, 15 years old. There was a cat running around claiming he was Chairman Fred's son. And and those who've been in Chicago know in particular, it's a city of structure, checks and balances. It's corroded now. However, the core of it is a city. This is not something that we do to our own part. It's also, in fact, being one of the top, as well as even today, segregated cities in the country, if not the world. I tracked this cat down. And I said, man, you tell the cat you Chairman Fred's son. His response was, he said, well, brother, I'm Honorable Elijah Muhammad's son. I'm Chief Malik's son. I'm Chairman Larry Hoover's son. So I said, no, I'm talking about like who your mother had relationships with. And he said, oh no, I didn't mean it that way. I said, well, brother, when I tracked you down, I was actually hoping that you were Chairman Fred. I had a sibling. Being that when I catch this heat, when they give me this time, in other words, I get these 18 years, you might take half of it. You know what I'm saying? This is the underbelly that comes with it. A lot of people say leather jackets were raised and they romanticize revolution.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We see the good, the bad, and the ugly of this struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, the apartment that Chairman Fred and Deborah Johnson were in, that was not even no hot running water in that apartment. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of individuals raised up, and we got a saying with the Black Panther Party Cubs, I guess a black when it's beneficial, play Panther when it's profitable, and claim to be Cubs when it's comfortable. You know what I'm saying? But the deal is, we are forced to deal with this raw reality, 24/7.
Absolutely.
Black power.
Black power.
In regards to the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, how has it impacted you?
Say it again. It's kind of breaking up. Say it again.
In regards to the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, how has it impacted you?
I'll be better to say I would serving people how it's impacted the community. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we relate to the old axiom, the old African axiom, which says what's good for the family may not be good for the community. What's good for the community is good for the family and the community. So I'll be better off saying how the impact on the people. This cat that grew up, this cat a few years older than me. He's known me since I was about 5 years old. Stayed in my mother's home. Mother's house, and he had said something to me the other day. He said, I never really understood who you really relate the seriousness of who you are. Because there were times, he would have domestic issues, him and his lady, you know what I'm saying, and 15 police cars be right there. They go to walkie-talkies, they would say right next to Hampton's house, and we had resulted sometimes he had to be banned from the block. And he said, I never understood the seriousness, of why the police would always be over here. I thought it was for me. He, I was telling him he suffered from what we call delusions of grandeur. I said, why do you think there be 15 cars automatically every time you have, you raise your voice? You know what I'm saying? The target, who they were actually coming at. You know what I'm saying? So this is, in some ways, it's been a validation to some people. Like, even though there's, we didn't get everything we wanted to get inside the movie, but the screen is powerful. You know what I'm saying? And I remember even my first discussion. In fact, this home right here, with Daniel Kaluuya, Dominic Fishback, Ryan Coogler, we was right here talking, and I said, this movie, the movie, the screen is so powerful. There'll be individuals that will be debating with us, telling us that Daniel Kaluuya is actually my biological father. I said that movie screen is a powerful dynamic. So it has helped, it's aided in validating certain arenas that even, as I said earlier, we put a certain amount of Panther Club political pills in the applesauce, and that was strategic. You know, I'm flashing back, like, certain, it was we exposed certain contradictions. Like it brought up why they didn't film in Chicago. See, everything political, geography, everything's political, location, everything. And it was initially we were not on board with it, because everything that was struggles in regards to some of the proposed titles down to the script, you know what I'm saying? And they were we went down on the set. We had to ride down there, and there were a lot of struggles, and again, we had to heighten some contradictions. And I recall, like, even the local force that we all announced, Jazzy had said something to the effect that, Chairman, I seen you on the set, every day. Why wasn't your name, in the beginning? I say, I mean, cats would be scared to even watch the movie if my name was in the beginning. Cats be saying, I can hear cats now. I ain't watching that shit, man. Shit, I might go to jail watching with Chairman Fred involved in this here. So the reality is, the deal is that this, again, propaganda, Commandante Ernesto Che Guevara said the role of the propagandist can be as important as that of the guerrilla. They have been quite that. We have turned down so many overtures. I'm cut from the cloth of two freedom fighters, Chairman Fred Hampton, and also of Cool and Jerry, formerly known as Derrick Johnson. Not only this is this woman that covered down with her comrade, her husband, December 4th, the Chicago police, under the direction of the FBI, fired 99 rounds to the home. It's the same one when I was about 12 years old, when there was a proposition brought to her about doing a book that will raise the police up in a good light at a time when our gas was cut off, one of those cold Chicago winters. She took the principal stance and saying no go, even with other family members, even with other people that were in the Panther Party, was saying, just man, go for it. There was even with this prior to this, Forrest Whitaker, before he did the Butler, was talking about doing it. And other party members told him, said, man, that man's son will be deceived. He don't play no games with his legacy. He don't care who it is. He don't cut no corners. Antoine Fuqua, when he tried to seek out other family members and deal with, to go off the books from, lawyers. And people say, why you want to touch down with Chairman Fred? Because Bill is, a lot of people, they want it but don't want it. They want to talk about the Panther Party in an abstract, non-realistic type of way. This is a movie, but again, we got it made revolutionary leaps and bounds. Just acknowledge certain terms, you know what I'm saying? And there are certain things that are in there and are not in there for specific reasons. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say, this cat told me the other day, man, I wish the movie could have really talked about the international impact that Chairman Fred had. I see, you the same brother that did a movie on President Obama on your own volition, was scared to do a commercial on Chairman Fred. He said, yeah, you're right, Chairman. Let's be very clear who we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Chairman Fred was a revolutionary, Black Panther Party was a revolutionary organization, and people say, well, can this movie tell us everything about the Black Panther Party? The reality is you can't put no shark in a fish tank. You know what I'm saying? So we got, and this ain't no end-all panacea. But again, and even with the awards that are coming out, that's not validation for us. Our validation comes from those brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, that's locked up in those concentration camps in Minneapolis, you know what I'm saying, sending word to us, like saying, man, you we appreciate how you strategically, you know what I'm saying, respectfully dealt with certain organizations, because I'm real big about respect, you know what I'm saying, I'm the ecosystem, a structure, you know what I'm saying, again, organizations, and even if it's antagonistic, even if we recognize their contradiction, this is one of the reasons why the United States government was unable to make certain countries antagonistic with the Black Panther Party and other organizations. A lot of places, are anti-structure. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people try to relate to this idealism. We all the same. We all have the same interest. No community has that. None. Contrary to what many people have misinformed to believe, that the sentiments of during the American Revolution was that of Patrick Henry, give me liberty, give me death. The reality is that with it was Thomas Jefferson said that, during the American Revolution, 1/3 was for it, 1/3 was against it, and 1/3 whichever way the wind blew. And this was in the 60s in the black community. This is now. You know what I'm saying? So to heighten those contradictions, say that there are differences. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I was telling some cats recently. A cat called me from the East Coast. I think he was watching one of the documentaries, one of them American Gangster documentaries or something. And he called me, I think it was from Baltimore or something. He called me, he said, Chairman Fred, I thought you said one of those snitches in Chicago. I never said that. I told you we don't call them gangsters. You know what I'm saying? We have a structure. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are anti-structure because their first concept of structure comes from some sort of state dynamic. Police, Army, Navy, school teachers, whatever. We say, we opposition to the structure. Structure identifies state shit and stops all the bullshit. Again, structure identifies state shit and stops all the bullshit. A lot of people, the term sellout is one of the most overused terms in our community. A lot of people, I can't believe Obama sold us out. We're never with you. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe O.J. Simpson done this. Never with you. And many people's like, like you go to the pet store. The deal is it's in something inside you. I remember in Ferguson, Mike Browntown. We got down there. I was laying out to the sister that these are different dynamics. She was an arrogance. It was a class arrogance. Where everybody means well. Sister, this is this organization. This is this organization. If you don't do that in the car mechanic, you don't go to AutoZone and say, I have a Chevy. Give me any type of spark plug. It's a structure to it. What gear is it? These are questions that people ask. With recipes, so food recipes. There's ingredients. There's a definition to a Muslim. I recall being in Denver, Colorado one time. I'm gonna go back to the Ferguson story also. And the guy it was an arrogance. The brother said, well, brother, I think we all mean well. I said, I hear you, brother. I said, I'm going to do salats. We're going to go pray. I'm going to pray to the north. He stopped. I said, you offended? He said, yes. I said, rightfully so. Revolution is my religion.
Right. That's my religion.
Respect that. So when I was in Ferguson, Mike Browntown, back to this situation. So this years back, matter of fact, it was still going down. The tear gas, the pigs were still throwing the tear gas canisters, you name it. And this idea, this class arrogance, the sister displayed. She was saying, well, you should everybody just get along. And I'm saying, no. I said, no, it's not antagonistic, but this is that. And so later on, when I came back down, show our respects for Darren Seals, who was assassinated. When I got back down there, his brother had told me, to say, I need you to talk to these sisters because they had some bad situations with some, Black Panthers and blah blah. It was real bad. I said, oh, when they showed me, I said, I remember the sister. I said, no, I'm not biting the bullet for that. He said, what? I say, it was cool when people participated in fucking over the legacy minister UEP Newton. And then when there was a conscience on their level, then it's a problem. And see, a lot of people can see things subjectively. When something happens to them, there's a problem. You follow what I'm saying? Like, I use it back to the pet store analogy. If you go to the pet store, you buy goldfish, and you know what I'm saying? You throw a leash on it, and you say, I wonder why this motherfucker ain't barking, why they ain't protecting my house. It's just you say dogs ain't nothing, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people have they have an issue with black men, but you go back and check the resume, they never came into contact with black men. You know what I'm saying? It means some males, and vice versa. Not a catch with black women. You say, hold on, you never met no woman. This is a different dynamic. So a lot of people have been deprived of certain dynamics, certain entities, and they come in with an incorrect assessment from the basis. And it don't fit the whole ecosystem. So that, again, I tell people I come from a structure that I'm not Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. because I look like and talk like them. You know what I'm saying? They hold me accountable. You know what I'm saying? To the checks and balances. I was designated to be on that movie set. You know what I'm saying? About advisory board, checks and balances. I'm still damaged from that. I still told them at nighttime how to cut, stop. You know what I'm saying? There were certain things, you know what I'm saying, again, that was held accountable to. I had to check in and say, hold on, this cannot slide. There were certain situations where our political line clashed or contended with made creatively speaking advantageous. However, at the end of the day, we say to make sure that legacy is still standing. You know what I'm saying? And we have a job and responsibility to make sure that that's the case.
Absolutely, Black Power.
So for us today, like, what advice would you give to us to, be better equipped and more organized to keep the ball rolling?
Say it one more time. It's kind of static. Say it again one more time.
what advice would you give to us to be better organized and have like better strategies to keep the revolution going?
Combat one. Chairman Mao Zedong told combat liberalism. Combat liberalism. And I'm not saying this in the order, how this should go. I don't know which stage what you're dealing with, because a lot of times, like, I don't come in with some sort of arrogance to, we say, we have to assess certain situations. A lot of times cats want to move in a reactionary, but they want. We say there ain't no cliff notes in club class. We like when you work out, you go to the gym. They say, okay, how can I get this? He said, wait a minute, let me see what I'm working with. One person might have to walk 10 laps. One person may got to, lift some weights. So like even different geographical locations, we assess it. Like a gardener. Say, okay, man, we can grow this here. This cannot grow here. What's the history here? They had different. Even when I was locked up, there were different tactics that we would apply to Joliet as opposed to Stateville. Two places that were geographically close, but they were politically a million miles away from each other. Joliet was transient. There was a history of no structure there. Stateville had a structure. It was a history. That's where leadership was at. Even the way Stateville was the only place where the infamous F house was at, the roundhouse. So the deal is assessing, being upfront. What are we dealing with? A lot of times we go to these cases, the police murder people in the community, and the lawyers tell them, don't stay away from Mr. Hampton. And a lot of my colleagues and comrades say, Chairman, how do you know which uncle's going to sell out? How do you know which mother that the news is going to put up there? Who's going to go for the payoff? I say, I study my own family. I don't cut no corners with whoever it is. I say, be up front, combat liberalism. It's not, we don't come in, and assess certain things. Well, this is my friend, this is my homie. The politics are consistent. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to be up front about that. We have to take into account things that are bigger than us, history, where we at. What may be a revolutionary leak for certain things, even organizing the various street tribes and winning certain points of unity. We take into account the history. So, okay, this person has this lack of experience. We all have a myriad of experiences as well as of lack of experiences. And you know what I'm saying? So I can deal with ignorance. That's to be able to combat that arrogance and ignorance. Initially with the movie, we had a lot of people that came in. They were saying they knew about the Black Panther Party from books they read. It was exposed later, after the movie was released, that 73% of the information authored about the Black Panther Party came from the FBI. You know what I'm saying? But and also the deal is there are certain things that people will pull with a revolutionary or with the Black Panther Party. They won't even try. They dare not pull with any ruling class entity. You know what I'm saying? It's certain. It would seem abnormal. You know what I'm saying? Whether we're talking about religious institutions or what have you. So the deal is again to acknowledge, coming into the door, acknowledge contradictions. It's like throwing up. A lot of us really don't want to do that because the next question is, what do we believe? What do we relate to? You know what I'm saying? If it comes up, the next question is, damn, what did I eat? You know what I'm saying? Where did that come from? How did this? You know what I'm saying? In regards to our parents, our relationships, a guy told me one time we was Galesburg, one of the penitentiaries. Excuse me, scratch that. One of the concentration camps I was in.
Okay.
Brother, he came back up the phone. And he hung the phone up. And he walked past me. He was on the deck. We was on the deck. He walked past. He said, "Man, this is my cellie." He said, "I hate I ever met you." He said, "I hate I even met you. I ever met you." And he went and said to the door. So a lot of guys, they like, "Man, what the fuck you say to the champ?" So I said, "No, hold on." I said, "Stand down for a minute." So I said, when we come out to talk to him, he said, "Man, I've been in a relationship with my lady for I don't know how many years, man." He said, the politics, man. He said, certain thing I can't bite my tongue on. The class, the petty bourgeoisie line that she maintains. He say, the politics, it brings out certain things that we don't, a lot of us, in that movie, A Few Good Men, Jack Nicholson's character say, can you, don't want to know, you can't handle the truth. So a lot of us you say we want to know, we really don't want to know. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a deal is the ecosystem. You can say this is this, it allows everybody else to keep the status quo a certain way. You feel what I'm saying? So, so the deal is a lot of us are not willing or able to grasp that. It's a term they use, committing class suicide. But the masses don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? The masses we're being murdered every day. We cannot afford the luxury to engage, in many of the race or class privileges. We can't afford the luxury You know what I'm saying? Deal, you know what I'm saying? To play games with GMOs like it's a real deal. GMOs being government-made organizations. You know what I'm saying? We can, you know, a lot of us can't afford the luxury to go get a plastic tomato out of the store that has no seeds in it and say, okay, we're gonna make a salad. And so we say, no, we need the real deal. So the conditions are, and some people can afford the luxury to pillow fight with our people. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to assess who you are, where you are. You know what I'm saying? And these are real deal content people that come to grips with. We come from the valley, and I'm not saying in some sort of braggadocio sort of way. This is the reality of acknowledging. Even Shakespeare say, "To thyself be true." Acknowledge the contradictions, and people say, "Well, in my mind, I'm this subjective." The reality is, outside we relate to a philosophical tool known as dialectical materialism. The outside conditions are also related to you, who you are. You feel what I'm saying? You go to somebody's house, they got a tiger running around the house. You know, at some point you got to say, man, this motherfucking tiger can't be a threat. Everybody, you know, the baby, everybody hanging around this tiger. You know what I'm saying? So dialectical materialism, outside circumstances. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, I say, man, there's got to be something that's legacy of the Black Panther Party. They say, why? I say, look at me, look how motherfuckers constantly attacking it. Look how much keep on coming at it. It's like in a relationship. You say, if you start to question your guy, you're in a good situation. The guy says, the girl, y'all in a good situation. He said, every time you say, man, everybody keep trying to holler at them. I must got something going on. This must be something to this here. And that legacy of Black Panther Party is protected, respected, never neglected. Unfortunately, I have to bounce out, y'all. It's been an honor. I moved to Freedom All Radio because we're gonna be on in 30 minutes. Matter of fact, that's Freedom All Radio. It's on Blog Talk Radio. Also, whatever support people can offer, they can go to GoFundMe.com/Save the Hampton House 51. Also, Cash App $Save the Hampton House. In regards to saving the childhood on Chairman Fred Hampton. So keep your heads up, eyes on the fist, with the call. Freedom All. Power to the people. The Cubs are coming. The Cubs are coming. The Cubs are here.
People. Appreciate you. Salute.
That was powerful. A whole lot of information.
Yes.
Yep.
Very powerful.
COINTELPRO is so real.
Absolutely.
Man, son, if you only know, COINTELPRO has affected my life in so many ways. About a year, 2 or 3 ago, I'm gonna let General Jamal break that down, but it was me, Vaughn, and him and another sister in a car. And the police, it was like 20 police cars. Detectives pulled guns on us. They said they're gonna drag me out the car.
Yeah.
And
we
I
was
said,
like,
no,
that
the
ain't
hell
happening.
you ain't.
That's
Nothing.
That was a setup.
Yeah.
You know, to get us all in a certain spot. And if Vaughn wouldn't have went live, they was finna kill us.
Right.
They had made it in their mind because they said we were prowling. We was at the store.
We was at the store. Matter of fact, we weren't just at the store. We was buying something from the store.
Right.
So it wasn't even loud. It wasn't even loitering. I mean, that's just like one of many examples. But really, COINTEL. What the people need to know is that COINTEL. If you read like books or something like that, that's try to tell that COINTELPRO ended. It did not end. These government programs, they just changed the names. The importance of 9/11. What happened was when 9/11 happened, what came was called the Patriot Act. So the Patriot Act, it lifted all of those restrictions from the old COINTELPRO because you know they had took it away. Supposedly, it never took it away, but now it's open. That it's open because with the Patriot Act, it gave them a higher level of surveillance. They could do actually. The Patriot Act is COINTELPRO on steroids. It's actually a whole different level to where they can basically spy and infiltrate, and they have way more technology now than they ever could before. So with that coming into place, you have a heightened with technology, with all these organizations popping up with social media. It's like on steroids because you got they have people now on their payroll that just go in and talk crazy about black groups or put down that without even joining any group. Then you got fake, which we dealt with a fake COINTEL leader who basically stole another man's identity, another man who is in the movement identity. A real Ali Muhammad, he took his identity and like was able to, because they're very well trained, was able to deceive a lot of people. Now, when he got here, we figured him out. It wasn't that long.
That's
We
when
got
I
him
went
out of
to
here.
jail. You know, after we did the armed march, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
it
met
was
that
a setup.
brother.
It was a setup.
And,
It was a setup, man.
I was out on bail, and the only way that they could get me to go to jail, I had a year worth of papers over my head, and I had a DPA, deferred prosecution agreement, to where they were saying, you know, either you do 30 days in jail, or you know what I'm saying, you do a year on papers. And I was 11 months into this, you know what I'm saying, DPA. You know, and I guess on papers, but I was good. Like I wasn't a felon or anything. I got caught carrying concealed weapon. But when I met this brother, you know, it was we were supposed to be doing, you know, the armed march right outside of the District 7, you know.
Yeah.
And my conditions of bail, which was something I did not read, they said was to not be around any firearms or have any in my possession. And when I did that armed march, you know, even in disguise, even, you know, trying to hide whatever, you know, it was only because COINTELPRO that I went to jail. You know, it was only because of him that I went to jail. Yep. You know, and I end up doing 30 days. I've never been back to jail since then. But, you know, like it's most definitely real.
Definitely.
You know, and I learned that, you know, meeting him, you know what I'm saying? I know what the police look like now. Right, you know, I know how they stand. You know what I'm saying? I know they stink to me. Right. You know, so I don't even let them get too close.
Yep. And these agents are very well trained. This false leader of it is a real revolutionary Black Panther. They came on Morris World TV last night, but the fake leader, the fake Ali Muhammad, you know, he's CIA trained. We was able to get a lot of information over the years. It's been like 4 or 5 years now. We found a lot of information, and they're very well trained. They prepare these people for years. Now, this person and another person who's found to be an agent as well, since 2012, their records have been sealed, and they've been arrested multiple times, but doesn't even show up. So when you start digging deeper, it's real obvious. That's another thing y'all got to understand about snitching. When you snitch being operative, they don't care about you.
You're disposable.
You're disposable. They're gonna leave breadcrumbs for you to be found out. So that and you gotta understand as well, when you're doing that, more than I think it's 97% of the time, it doesn't even help your situation. You're getting the same deal you would have got had you took a plea or went to trial. And most times even worse. Yeah. So they use psychological warfare, which is a big part of COINTELPRO, and getting us to snitch and telling each other and betray each other. They use psychological warfare. Everything that he did from infiltration. Before he came up here, Milwaukee, we had a great thing going on. We had a lot of great groups going on, and no one was fighting. You know, we might have our differences or whatever, but no one was fighting. You had original Black Panthers. I was just doing my armed patrol things. Yvonne was doing his thing. So then this brother here doing his thing, and we would come together. It was all peace. It was all love. It wasn't no issues. The minute that he infiltrated the situation, he started spreading dissension, because that's what COINTEL does. It tries to deframe and spread dissension amongst unity. It spread, like we just heard Chairman Fred talking about how 73% of the information about the party was put out by the FBI. Yeah. Now this agent, he made up fake newsletters and pamphlets and radio shows talking about Von Mays, about me. Putting out fake information, even went so far to have fake PDFs, like spreading rumors, and that's what. And you gotta understand about the cracker, man. The advantage that we have, they're not intrinsic. They follow patterns. Right. So he's submissive to the cracker, so he's gonna move like a cracker. Even he's a cracker in blackface. So. You know, because cracker don't mean black or white. Cracker, you can be white or black and be a cracker. You know, cracker is just short for whip cracker.
Like Joseph
We got a saying for that. It's free us or you die, cracker.
Right. Yeah, we don't mean color. We mean the like Joseph Mensa.
Right.
We call him cracker and blackface.
Yes.
He has the attitude and the demeanor of a white person. So we say cracker and black of our oppressor. We say cracker and black face because his skin is black, but his attitude and his constitude is a cracker.
Yeah.
All skin folk ain't kin folk.
Say that.
Yes.
Say that.
Make sure y'all, you know, stay tuned to Revolution Radio. You know, make sure y'all reach out to the page. You know, get y'all some of the gear. You know,
support.
Once again, I do want to say thank you You know, we are very much honored to have y'all. I learned
we
a
honored
lot.
to be here. Honored to be here.
As I always
Appreciate
do.
y'all.
Like I said, that's my mom. You know.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna. I guess Destiny, you wanna lead them out?
Oh, that hour went that quick.
Yeah, it was real.
It was
that
so much
real.
information.
that
Like
real.
It was so
this
real.
episode, we really got to rewatch and take notes. Like we gotta for real, and get
Yeah.
ourselves ready. Like I hope y'all really be getting Revolution ready from watching this. It's not called Revolution Ready just by coincidence. Like this really getting you prepared, soak in all the information.
I want to send a shout out to Hakim Bey. That brother did a very, very good job with showing the operatives and
no doubt.
COINTELPRO. Morris World TV.
Yeah.
Man, he did such an excellent job. People pulled up.
Yeah. And like he's the first one to give us a bigger platform to get it out there because we've been exposing this clown. I mean, Sedan though, we've been exposing this clown, kicking him out the sea and everything. But he gave us the platform where we can put it out there, lay the receipts out there. So check out Morris World TV, man. Support that channel. You can go and see the Who's the Informant episode where he allowed me to expose the receipts on this clown. Because like I said, they're gonna leave proof. When they doing that COINTEL, they not superhuman. They just low level snitches and operatives. That was the lowest scum on the earth. So if you stay strong, you're gonna be able to combat that if you stay strong.
For the people that just tuned in, one more time, y'all want to give them your information, social media platforms, any type of way that they can reach out.
Oh, no doubt. You can reach us at legendaryblackpanthers@gmail.com, legendaryblackpanthers@gmail.com, or on YouTube, Legendary Black Panther, or you can also go to the Facebook, Legendary Black Panther. The website, we took it down, but we're putting it back up. But you can get us at those ways.
And thank you for tuning in for another episode of Revolution Ready. Here is where we liberate, educate, and demonstrate
Black power
for you to stay Revolution ready.